welcome to the 11th interview of God, Gold, and Glory. Today I'm here with TJ or Tyler Brown, Jiu-Jitsu brown belt, former MMA, did football and baseball.
Yes.
All that kind of stuff.
Yes, ma'am.
Just to get it started, how'd you get into Jiu-Jitsu?
Well, when I was 13 or 14 years old, like over 20 years ago, my dad got me, he used to train with this guy that was a black belt in judo, and he knew some jiu-jitsu, and so he would teach them some real basic fundamental jiu-jitsu techniques, and I would tag along with them, and it was only once a week, but we would train in just regular clothes. We learned a lot of like self-defense. A lot of the like old school Gracie jiu-jitsu is like real self-defense based. Mm-hmm. But I remember I learned how to do an arm bar. I learned a cool choke with a t-shirt. But yeah, that's how I got started. And then shortly after that, within a year, the MMA lab opened up, and I started training under Kendall Gu, who's one of Hoist Gracie's black belts. So yeah, that's how I got started. Long time ago, before you were born.
Going to the next question.
Mm-hmm.
Looking back, what do you think separates your mindset now from when you first started competing?
When I first started, I was fueled by excitement and a desire to just prove myself, and not really to anybody else, but to me, especially at that age, becoming a young adult, coming into my manhood a little bit. Every young boy wants to become a man, like, so bad, and especially like combat sports definitely can help make that come to light. So back then it was more, I don't want to say ego based, but in a way, it was I was trying to prove who I was. And now I'm more focused on like just becoming a master at the craft of jiu-jitsu. To me, it's like an art form, and I love doing it. And so my mindset now is more just refined, and I'm not going out there trying to prove who I am. Like, I know who I am as a person, as a man. My identity is rooted. And so, yeah, back then, I think the mindset was more trying to find my way, and now it's like I've already found my way, and I'm just trying to perfect it now as best I can. So I would say that's the difference.
All right, this is probably one of the hardest questions.
Okay.
If you had to describe your faith in one word, what would it be?
I would say there's a few words that come to mind, but if I had to choose one, I would say anchored, because my faith is or like foundation was another good word that I thought of, because it's my identity is rooted in my faith and who I am in Christ. And so since my identity is in Him, everything else is just like, it doesn't faze me. You know what I mean? Like, I know who I am in Christ, therefore I walk through life with just this like confidence and peace, Yeah. So, yeah, my faith is a big part of who I am. It is who I am, I would say,
Yeah.
So.
And going back, like, you're not doing it really for approval anymore, because you've also
Right.
That.
Exactly. Yeah. There's not like win, lose, get tapped by a white belt. Like, I don't care. I don't care. It doesn't define me.
Mm-hmm. Can you tell me a little bit about your faith background? Like, how were you raised, or how did you come to your beliefs?
Yeah, so I grew up in a home that did not believe in God. And so, God, I would see my grandpa and my dad like argue about it. Since then, my dad has come to faith, so that was both my parents have actually, which is a blessing. But growing up, I don't know if they were like against it. I think my mom, she went to, she was forced to go to like a Catholic school, and I know a lot of people that had that upbringing struggle to continue in the faith later in life. And so I think they never wanted to like push that on me, and they wanted, they weren't like against it, like you can't believe in God, but it just wasn't a topic in my house, And so then as I grew older, I started to get into trouble. I got addicted to drugs at a young age, and so I started to have this belief that if you believed in God, you were stupid. And so fast forward a couple years, God brought me to my knees in my addiction, and I made a decision to turn my life around. And I had some pretty crazy experiences that I just couldn't deny. Like, God was after me, like he was coming after me, and so I just couldn't deny it anymore. There was just too many things that happened, that like coincidences, that I don't really believe in coincidence anymore. So when I was 20, I think, I had a pretty powerful experience where I had a prayer answered that I had never really prayed before either, and I prayed for some help, like to find a job, and I didn't even know who I was praying to. But that next weekend, I met a guy, and he at first it looked like he was gonna give me a job, which was like what I wanted, right? I was looking to find a job, and when we met up for the interview, we didn't even talk about the job at all. I said something like, I prayed to meet you. It's weird. And he asked me who I prayed to, and I said, I don't know. And then he was a Christian, obviously, and he started to minister to me in a way that just like, it just made sense, And so I prayed. Christ came into my life that night. And I remember driving home, looking at my hands, thinking like, why? I remember when I was little, I would look at my hands and I would think, why am I made like this? Like, why is my hand this shape? And I would get this like goosebump feeling. And so when I was driving home from that meeting, I saw my hand, and I was listening to some Christian music. And then all of a sudden, I just felt God tell me, like, I made you like this. That's why you're like this. It was like,
yeah.
Because I remember thinking that as a kid. And it was this weird, like, why? Why am I like this? And then God answered, and it was like, because I made you like this, And then after that, it was just this overwhelming feeling of like peace and purpose that I'd never felt before. And so, yeah, that was, after having that experience, there was no more denying my faith,
Yeah.
It was super powerful. So that's how it started.
That's awesome. So you were involved like in athletics first before?
Yes. Yep.
How did your relationship with like athletics change when you came to faith more?
Well, by the time I found Christ, my athletic career at the time was over. Like,
Yeah.
I was a high school football player. I had some opportunities to go play in college, and because of my drug use, they kind of fell to the wayside. And so I didn't continue playing sports after high school. But I mean, now it's tough to say how it's changed, because there was such a huge gap from that to starting to train again. It was 10 years. Like I graduated in 2010, which was the last year I played football, and I didn't start back up doing jiu-jitsu until 2020. So I don't really know.
Gotcha.
You know,
Yeah.
I wasn't really the competitiveness of it hasn't really like in football you're part of a team and you're trying to like win, and you know it's your whole life. It for me it was. And so with jiu-jitsu it's more of like an individual thing, you know, so and unless you compete often, it's not really something that is like, you know, that
Intense.
yeah, it's intense in its own way, but it's not as like, you know, especially being an adult with kids, it's just your priorities change. You know, it's like jiu-jitsu is a hobby that I love, but it's not like who I am. Like, and so, yeah, that's the what was it? Is the mindset? Is that what it was? The question?
Or just like the relationship with athletics.
Yeah, I guess the biggest thing is it's like instead of in the beginning, like as a young athlete, wanting to be good for my own self, like was the goal to glorify me, and now having faith, like everything that I'm good at, I know comes from God anyway. So it's like I would rather use my God-given talents and abilities to give him the glory, you know? Because, like, without him, I don't even have none of this, you know? So, yeah. There's your answer.
Thank you. How does your religion show up in day-to-day training?
I would say it shows up just in how I treat people, you know? Like, we're called to be the light of the world, and I try to be Christ-like to all my training partners, and if someone's willing to listen about, you know, or that's the cool thing about jiu-jitsu is we become really close with everybody that we train with, and so people are more inclined to share with you like their struggles, you know, and so it's an opportunity for me to share my faith, and so yeah, I feel like that's the biggest thing about it. It's more so it doesn't necessarily affect my training, but it affects who I am when I'm training around the people that I'm around, you know.
The environment
Yeah,
you're in.
yeah. Gotta
Makes sense.
be the salt of the earth, you know.
Are there routines, prayers, or rituals you used to do before competing?
It's not just for before competing. On days that I do compete, I still get pretty nervous, you know, just because it's like, it's so weird too, because jiu-jitsu is probably the thing I'm most comfortable doing. Like, I know more about it than most people. Like, I can roll with anybody. I'm not afraid. But then so something to just about being in front of everybody doing it, you know, it's just weird. Like, I don't get it. But the routine, I would say, I pray every day, and if I'm feeling nervous, I pray that God will, you know, just help me calm my nerves. And honestly, I don't even know why I'm nervous, because like I don't care what like if I lose, I don't care. I think it's more so just like the intensity of competing, where it's like when you're training, even in going hard, like, you know, you'll have hard rounds in practice. There's something different when it's somebody you don't know, and you know that person's trying to hurt you. You know, like that's the whole point of jiu-jitsu is like they're trying to choke you or break your arm, and so that the unknown of it is what I think makes you nervous. And so prayer, meditation, I'll listen to like worship piano music. That's my thing. Like if you ever see me with headphones in, I'm listening to worship piano music.
Nice.
So, yeah, that's probably the only ritual I have as far as my faith goes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
When preparing for a competition, what role does faith play in your mindset?
I would say that my faith keeps the pressure of it in check. Like even though I have the nerves, it helps keep it, regulated, I would say, because my identity is rooted in Christ. So like whether I win or lose, it doesn't change who I am in Him. And so I think that helps me with some of the nerves, of it all, because it's like, whatever,
And I know I get really nervous, but what I always say is like, oh, this isn't nerves or fear, like, from God, like, depart from me, like,
right.
Get away.
Yeah.
But the weird thing is it doesn't change how I feel, but instead it's excitement.
Right.
Like, goes from, oh my gosh, my heart's gone, I'm so nervous, goes to, my heart's still going,
right.
but I'm, like, excited for this.
Right.
It's so weird.
And what's cool, though, is, like, your body is, like, if you can make that switch, it actually becomes a weapon.
Mm-hmm.
Because now your adrenaline's pumping, which makes you stronger, which makes you faster, which makes you... the only downside is it can cloud your mind a little bit.
Yeah.
Which jiu-jitsu is a mind game. But if you can hone that part down and turn that adrenaline into focus, it's definitely a weapon for sure, which is cool. So, yeah, that's good. I wonder if, like, the world champions are still getting nervous.
I wonder that too sometimes.
It's got to be. They've probably got it, like, dialed in to where they can transfer, make it, like,
probably.
Focus thing.
But sometimes I think about, like, the adult worlds.
Yeah.
When it's, like, the final matches, when they have it, like, just them.
Right.
Like, that's got to be...
It's got to be. Yeah, it's got to be crazy.
I want to be there one day.
Yeah, you will.
In such a tough sport, how do your beliefs help with pressure, nerves, or setbacks?
Yeah, I think just similar to my last question, it was just more so like it's all because of my faith. It's just the setbacks or whatever, it doesn't really matter, because at the end of the day, like, what really matters is who I am in Christ, and anything, even failure or setbacks, can just be a lesson, and I can ask myself, like, all right, what can God teach me here through this, instead of, dwelling on it or getting down on myself, so there you go.
Has there been a moment where faith carried you through injury, doubts, or loss?
Definitely. I would say injuries, I am stupid and I just keep training anyway. But definitely outside of my athletic life, I've lost people, friends, family, and without faith, like, I don't know if I would be able to handle it as well as I could,
Yeah.
When my brother-in-law died, that was a big deal, and I think having faith and knowing that this life isn't the last stop, is it's good. And one thing too is when you experience a loss like that, it makes you realize that this life we have is not guaranteed, and it's not necessarily very long. And so having faith, it makes me want to, like, live better and spend my time more wisely. And so without faith, I feel like life would just feel so meaningless, you know? Yeah, if I didn't have faith, I feel like I wouldn't be able to handle life and its setbacks and losses as well as I do, you know?
Yeah. And like you said earlier, able to learn from it is like now the setbacks and stuff have more meaning, or like there's got to be some reason it worked out this way as opposed to just, oh, life sucks, whatever.
Yeah, right, exactly. Yeah, it definitely changes your outlook on things, which I'm very grateful for. I am a night and day person of who I used to be. The man that I was 15 years ago is unrecognizable to who I am today, and I have only my faith to thank for that. I was a monster. So you don't want to be around me back then.
When you win, how do you connect faith to that victory?
Let's see. When I win, how do I connect faith to the victory? Well, it's God who gave me everything that I have, the body that I have, the breath in my lungs, the ability to even wake up and move. So if I win, it's not about me or the entitlement that I think I am great. It's just like I feel like if anything, it's just humbling. Like, it's cool. We work so hard to train, and when you get a victory, it just feels, it feels good. But it's more like jiu-jitsu is a weird thing. It's like, even in loss, you feel good for your opponent. It's like this weird thing when you fight somebody. It's like afterward, you're just like this bond.
I'm like best friends with some of the girls I competed against.
And it's like there's just something about it when you have like a physical encounter with somebody that bonds you afterwards. So yeah, I've never, when I win, I don't ever feel like I'm better than you. It's like, hey man, like that could be me. I could be on the other side of this. You know. So
especially when you go against someone like you're right there with, where it's like it could have easily gone the other way.
Exactly. Yeah. So God gave me the strength, discipline, and breath in my lungs to perform. Victory keeps me thankful but not prideful. That's how my faith changes that.
Yeah. Okay, now to the losses one. Do your beliefs change the way you process losses?
Definitely. I think if without faith, it would be more of an ego thing, and I would take the losses personally and feel like, I think if you're not careful, jiu-jitsu can become your identity. And if my identity wasn't rooted in Christ and I did jiu-jitsu like I do, I could very easily see how my identity would be jiu-jitsu. And so if I were to lose and I wasn't rooted in Christ, I could see where that could become a problem or unhealthy and make me feel like I have an identity crisis, like you think you're good at something and you build your identity in this thing, and then you lose, and then all of a sudden it's like, who am I? Where being a Christian and being rooted in Christ, it's like win or lose, like I don't know, whatever. Like the most important fight of my life, I already won. So everything else is just gravy. Even wins, loses, whatever.
Still an opportunity. You still got the chance to compete.
Exactly. Yeah, and you can grow. And if you lose, the best thing I think from it is you can learn. Like, what did I do wrong? Okay, how can I fix that? How can I get better next time? So that's the beauty of losing, I think. Yeah. If you're not driven by your ego, and you can remove that and just learn from your mistakes, that's what's important.
And I think it's hard for a lot of people because it becomes like, I don't want to not care about, like, I still need to work hard. You can't just not do anything and that, but you also can't be so attached that it's the balance that's hard.
Yeah, no,
for
I see
people.
that. I definitely see that.
Is there a story or moment we haven't touched on that best shows how religion and athletics intersect for you?
I don't know. I don't know if there's a story we haven't touched on. I think let's see. I'm gonna read this. Yeah, I think for the biggest way that my faith in this jiu-jitsu meets is in coaching. Like, as a Christian, we want to share our faith with people, right? We don't want to like shove it down their throat, but if, when the time is right, and you can just tell when someone's going to be receptive to hearing, about it. And so it's like the same thing in jiu-jitsu when I'm coaching. Like, I know, like, there's certain people that I have to know my students, and like, I know what how I can give Johnny a bunch of information and he'll just do it without even, asking again. But then another student, I may have to do it different, and so I think just that part of like sharing my faith as a Christian intersects with jiu-jitsu, with sharing my knowledge, and being a good example for the kids and somebody that they can look up to that is like, I teach them discipline, right? But then I'm also fun, and I'm also like, I'm throwing a little bit of like life lessons for them too, and sharing a little bit of my faith with them. Like, kids, like, how many people cry, in jiu-jitsu as a kid? It happens every class. And so it's funny because you get to share just like, life advice. I feel like kids listen to
Not their parents.
Exactly. They're not, whoever's not their parents, they listen to more. And so it's cool to be able to have like that impact on kids and help them, like, hey, you're feeling really angry right now, and I can tell you're running on pure anger. I said, but if we can just hone this down, this can be a good thing, right?
Yeah.
Like, you need to get your emotions in check, and then we can tie it into the real world, like, if we act like this out there, we can get in trouble, So we have to learn in here how to control our emotions. If we have a problem with somebody, we meet it head on, face to face, and we work it out, instead of letting anger build, and which leads to, doing things that aren't good. So yeah, I would say that's probably the last little bit of how they intersect for me.
Yeah. And just to allow kids to grow up with that.
Yeah.
Like, I was watching some of them, because like in between the older kids and the little kids, there's like 5 minutes where they just kind of run around. It's like just watching them. Like, imagine growing up having that one spot where you could always go to, you could get your emotions out. Just having something like that.
Yeah.
It's awesome.
I know. Yeah. The thing is they don't even realize it yet.
No.
Though. It's like once you get older, that's when you realize, you're like, man, that was cool. I shouldn't have took that for granted.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's cool. It's fun. I love it. I love the cool thing about jiu-jitsu too is it gives me the opportunity to be around people to share my faith. And it's not really like I'm reading the Bible out loud, dumping it on them. It's like I try to be Christ-like around everybody, and then when the opportunity comes to share that in depth with somebody, jiu-jitsu provides a good environment for that. Because I mean, I've got tons of friends here. I'm around tons of people, a lot more than just the normal, world is. So
A bunch of different types of people.
Yeah, people from all walks of life. So it's cool. I definitely am grateful for it, and I know that God put this in my life for a reason. So yeah, and it ain't for me. It's for everyone else too. You know, it's for me to give back and help people.
Yeah,
so
that's the cool thing about coaching. I feel like, because especially with the kids, I'll be like, do this, and like they're like, oh, I really like this thing, and I'm like, I like it too, and now you have like something.
That's
like
the coolest feeling when you see like the light turn on for somebody. You're like, oh, yes.
There's like a little 5-year-old. We went over takedowns for probably a month. That's all he does.
Really?
Yeah.
That's
he
cool.
Loves them, and I'm like, he loves them.
Takes him down, stands up, and let's go again.
Yeah, pretty much. But or he
funny.
falls too. And it's like then they're both on the ground, but we're working on it.
Yeah. What age group do you coach?
I
do
coach
both, or?
5 to 8, but then the older kids is 8 to 12, so I do both.
Oh, you do.
But my
That's
own
cool.
class is the 5 to 8.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Well, thank you so much for doing this.
You're welcome.
This was the 11th interview of God, Gold, and Glory.
Number 11.